Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm going to kick off now. My name is Michael Gould. I'm one of the channel account managers at Redstor. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about the state of the channel, how to create opportunity, and what trends we've seen across the channel recently. So at the moment, 73% of channel resellers are either a lot quieter or quieter than usual. 42% of channel resellers say customers have cancelled or paused services with them. And 41% of channel resellers believe COVID-19 will have a negative impact on their business sales. In addition, 70% of people think the world is already in a recession as well. So, instead of all the doom and gloom, some positives out of that. Tech stocks are the highest performing industry stocks this year. So we're in the right market, we're in the right area to make sure that business is maintained, and we're actually doing better off than most of the industry. So some of the challenges we've seen is supply chain and legacy systems. Some of the questions that have been raised is how are customers going to adequately protect their data with legacy systems, and what if they go wrong? By legacy systems, I mean tape drives. 70% of organisations still actually use tape drives, as well as USB drives, disk-to-disk solutions, your typical standard on-site solutions. Now, how are they going to manage those? There's still at touch points, there's still ways that people need to take that data off site, adequately protect that data. Now, that is an issue with the travel, physical impacts, but also on top of that, what if your customers need to recover from a disaster as well? Now, that poses challenges in itself. In addition, how are customers or MSPs going to manage their customers' backup strategies? Now, this is going to be a challenge for all of us outside of the cloud space. So here's how Redstor can help and really where the opportunity is within this. Redstor requires no hardware to recover data. We can recover to any platform you need. Ultimately, it's a platform agnostic solution. It's a software-based solution, and that can recover into AWS or Azure. So any of your customers that are worried and have remote office, branch office, say they're a global organization, they have an office in Australia, an office in the UK, if they need to recover data, it doesn't matter where we recover that data to, as long as there's a platform available for us. AWS, Azure, some of the hyperscalers that we can recover to. Also, all aspects of the Redstor service can be remotely managed. Now, a lot of you will be aware there is a central management console for the solution. This gives you complete remote management of your entire backup estate, your customers' estates, but also you can dictate management rights to each individual customer as well. Now, this is really easy with Redstor, and we're talking about some of my partners that have previously used such things as Azure backup. That is an end management solution. That needs to be managed by an individual customer. When you've got 40, 50 customers, it is impossible to manage a solution as that. It's just not feasible in any way, shape or form. So the Redstor solution can completely mitigate that. So if you do have anyone that is using a solution such as Azure Backup, or you are yourselves, Redstor can make your lives and your customers' lives easy. In addition, there's no physical touch points. You don't have to go anywhere or touch anything in order to manage, install, monitor the Redstor solution. You don't have to have anyone go into site to change tapes, take USB drives off site. So if you do have any customers that are running those types of solutions, there's a great opportunity to talk around the impact of COVID. And ultimately, with the change in the way things are typically going to work after this, I can imagine a lot more people are going to be working remotely because they've proved that they can. In addition, if a customer's SAN is full, they have no availability to get any more disk, there's delays on disks being delivered, then Redstor can help there as well with our archiving solution. Essentially, the way the solution works is we have the data already backed up within the Redstor solution. What we then do is we leave stub files behind, which take up minimal resource on the machine. Ultimately, that data is being taken off, and we will stream that data back on demand as people click those files. So I think the stat is 70% of all data within organisations is redundant, obsolete, trivial data. That is rot data. We have the ability to remove 70% of that data off the platform, but still provide instant access should they need to. And there's no delays with the Redstor service. It can be easily remotely deployed in minutes. In addition, over the last 4 weeks, I can imagine an awful lot of you guys have been trying to get your customers connected, moving them to the likes of Office 365, moving to remote home working, laptops, VPNs, all of those sorts of things. And that presents its own challenges in itself. And that is, how are you protecting your customers, or how are the customers protecting themselves now that they are connected and working remotely? Based upon that, that's a challenge in itself, purely based on the fact that you have Microsoft are only there to provide a platform for you. They are not there to back up your data. And if you saw the webinar we ran last week, my colleague Ed, he talked in an awful lot of detail around the Office 365 protection piece. So Microsoft, their service level agreement actually states, section 6, we recommend that you regularly back up your content and data that you store on the services or store using third-party apps and services. Microsoft themselves recommend that you protect the data. And on top of that, with the increasing usage, we're seeing more and more outages, more and more delays, more and more latency across those services. So if they do go down, or if there are any issues from Microsoft end, how are you going to get that data back? If you are backing up using likes of Azure, Office 365, you have all your eggs in one basket. All of your data is in one single place. It's always advised to have a third party involved in these sorts of things. So how can Redstor help? One of the main ways Redstor can help is we can protect data from anywhere, across any device, at any time. It really doesn't matter where that data is, as long as we can install an agent on that device or have access to the cloud admin for your Office 365 tenancies. We can easily deploy the service and back up data from absolutely anywhere. Data is also the most important thing to businesses. We all know this. With no data, there is no business. To have a business to survive something like this, the COVID-19 crisis, for them to then lose their data, it is going to cause a massive issue, and they probably won't survive purely based on the fact that they don't have their data. So you need to ensure that you are protecting your customers at all times. The service, we've recently launched our new Office 365 offering that backs up SharePoint, Teams, and Mail. SharePoint, SQL, and Mail, sorry. Teams is due to come in May, so that will be complete, but we can still back up all of the data within Teams. It's just not the actual Teams structure themselves. On top of that, we do have G Suite coming in a couple of months' time as well. So if you do have any customers that are using G Suite, we will be able to cater for that soon. One thing a lot of my customers have been doing recently is they have been looking at all the Office 365 deployments that they have done over the past 6 months. Within that, they are then having conversations with their customers on how to protect that data now as well. So that is another way of trying to generate revenue, as well as helping your customers through this crisis. The service is on a simple price per gigabyte still and can be incorporated into your existing packages. So if you do have any spare data within bundles that you've sold or anything like that, you will be able to use that data space to deploy Office 365 migrations. And this is going to help you avoid vendor lock-in. Ultimately, if you need to get any data out of 365 or want to move away from it, you can at any point in time, nice and easily. One other thing we've also seen is an increase in ransomware. I'm not sure if anyone saw the news over the last week or two. Travelex recently paid $2.3 million in ransom following an event that happened last year. They originally had asked for 6 and had been in negotiations since then. And also coronavirus-related frauds went up 400% in March from February. I don't have the stats for April as of yet, but that's a very interesting stat in itself. One of the main things with the likes of paying a ransom is typically you become victim to it again. So how secure are your customers when working remotely? This is a big challenge, purely based on the fact you don't have the lockdown networks that you typically would have had being in offices. You have people that are using home machines. You have people that typically would ask questions to their colleagues of, is this a mail I should open, or anything in that sort of line. They don't have that support currently, and that's a challenge for organisations globally. If a customer is hit by ransomware, how easy would it be for them to recover or rebuild a machine? Would they be able to instantly get their access? Would you be able to walk them through rebuilding their file structure? This is not something that is typically easy across an awful lot of the competitors that we see out in the market. And it's not something that can be done remotely for a lot of things as well. And how do you stop cyber criminals taking advantage of the pandemic? People are always going to take advantage of mass panic, and ultimately our job is to mitigate that as much as we possibly can. So the way Redstor can help protect your customers against ransomware is we have end-to-end encryption. All data is encrypted from a client side, in transit and at rest, and that means it's not executable across Redstor's platforms, giving us the ability to always roll back to a time before you were infected by ransomware or your customers were infected by ransomware. We have flexible retention policies as well. So on key critical systems such as finance systems or logistics systems, we can extend retention to whatever you need in order to make sure that you are protected. And using our instant data feature, that allows us to stream data on demand based on what end users are trying to access at that point in time. So in the event the customer was hit by ransomware, say a remote home worker, you could easily get them to wipe their machine, give them a nice link to essentially kick off a recovery, and that would then stream their data on demand back to them. And it would look as if all those files are there, when really it's just a wireframe of the file structure. And as they click on those files, they can actively work and edit on those files as the restore continues in the background. So that's a way to avoid any downtime and make sure any customers can get up and running nice and easily should they have a ransomware attack. We've also seen resource limitations. 44% of companies said at least half their staff would be furloughed. 75% of those said they would likely furlough staff the week following, and that's according to the Financial Times. This is from last week, so if this would be happening right now as we speak. Now, how can we help with the resource limitations that are happening currently? We're here to help, essentially. We have a great marketing team that can help you with co-branded collateral, support in building campaigns. We've already built campaigns that you can easily take out of a box. we have we can integrate your content with ours, and we can do that for you. We have a sales resource in order to do call out sessions to your prospects or anyone you feel that might benefit from the Redstor solution. We can also run demos and trials for you using our pre-sales resource, and that's something that can easily be done and within 24 hours notice. Joint calls and video meetings from account managers that you have, and we can also help you qualify these opportunities on those calls and assist with the customers. Here are just some of the things that our marketing team have built. We have a DR checklist, really to help organisations understand what they are at risk, what risk they do have within this COVID crisis. There's infographics, there's mailers, and there's also blogs that we can assist with you guys as well. That is my brief presentation, guys. I hope you all found it useful, and I'm open to any questions you may have at this point in time. Do we have any questions? One of the questions we've just had is, are there any issues with technical resource or setting up trials? No, we don't. We have a ton of disk that's already in our DCs that is not being utilised. We have availability from 4 or 5 different pre-sales guys, so we can easily assist with any of those should you need to. You can easily get the resources from our marketing team, but I would advise that you either contact myself or your account manager. They'll get you in contact with the relevant person within the marketing team, and we'll be able to provide anything that you need or anything that we've discussed on this call. Okay, guys, we have another webinar next week, which is the same time, on the same day, and that's going to be talking around the 4-in-1 solution of Redstor, and that's going to be a bit of a deeper dive into the features, benefits. So if you think that's useful for any of your end users, any of your sales staff, any of your technical staff, that will be a good session for them to attend as well. The stats that have been acquired have come from multiple different areas. The Financial Times was one, and that was done globally. The ones in regards to the challenges that we're seeing across MSPs have come from one of our partners, and that's a questionnaire that they've been sending out each week. In terms of deployment, the service can easily be deployed within minutes. Essentially, you can push out an agent to any device that you should need to, and from there, there's easy step-by-step instructions on backing up the full system, whether that be system state and the C drive, in order to provide virtual machines back or bare metal recovery, or in terms of just setting up in itself, you can deploy that out using Active Directory, MSIs, all those sorts of things. So it's really easy to deploy. If it's something you've not done before, then we can easily show you how to do that. There is training available. All you need to do is talk to either myself or your account manager. Great. I think that is all. We finished a bit early, so I'm sure that gives everyone a bit more extra time to do some work. If there are any questions or you do want this slide deck, please do email me on my email address there, and I'll be happy to help. Or if you do have or need any assistance from Redstor, want introductions into any of the departments into Redstor, I can easily facilitate that for you.